Hey guys, it's Trevor here with a deck profile, probably the first one in a long time. But this is a Regalia update for Stride, new support from EV12, and after, God, several months of testing, this is pretty much what I've come up with. So it's a black ring and it being midnight and going on like 15, 20 something hours of being awake. I'm just gonna use this. So starter is Battle Maiden Amenohoakari. Reason why I run her and I don't run things like Vivid Rabbit or Prey Angel is because I'm not really Legion focused, you know, and I know everyone's gonna be like, oh god, no, what are you doing? You're not Legion focused. You suck, you're a scrub player, get out of here. I'm gonna stop watching this video, and if you're one of those players, don't watch this anyway, because I don't want you. And I run her because of the fact that once you hit grade 3, you're going to be wanting to soul charge at least enough to hit to whatever grade 3 you ride to. You don't really need to be soul charging early game because you want to have whatever chance of building your support and your field and things as you need. And you're going to be taking pretty much kind of every damage, guarding a little bit depending on your playstyle of conservative or aggro. Kind of depends on how you want to do things. But yeah, so there's that. Grade 3s. 3 Angelica, because of the fact that, well, I run 3 Minerva as well. So obviously this is going to be the main build focus here, is you want to swing for one of her, and this combined with Ameno, same as Battle BT14, you're going to be soul charging twice its swing, or once its swing, depending on if you use her skill or not. That's optional. But it'll be able to build soul very easily for Minerva, for when you cross-ride it, as well as the fact that now with the EV12 support, you're pretty much just fueling her no matter what you do. So it makes this deck a lot more consistent and a lot scarier, especially because of the fact that Minerva is still a restanding unit.
Oh, she's pretty.
And Tony Taka, goddess is sexy. So yeah, 3 Angelica, the 3 Minerva, and I know people are like, okay, well then what else you run? After that, I run 2 Yggdrasil. Unfortunately right now, the Yggdrasils are pretty hard to come by out here in Vegas, so, and with all this other stuff going on in my life, I don't really have the money to dish out 50 or 60 bucks worth of cash just for 2 cards. So as much as I would love to play this in, you know, flat out tourneys and things like that, I can't really do that because I don't have these 2 cards, and there's really no other Vanguards suitable because there just isn't any. I mean, I could run Brynhildr if I really wanted to, but there's kind of no point in that. So yeah, I run 2 Legion CEO because, you know, even if you get the chance to Breakride off of Angelica with CEO, the factor of that is just insane because you're gonna blast your 3, and then with things like Hemera and Shiny Angel, or yeah, with Shiny Angel, these 2 cards, pretty much right here, you're going to be able to draw your 2 cards off the Breakride skill, make this even higher, and then when you swing at it, you can Soul Blast your skill, blast Norn like normal, and you're going to be able to pump her up and even higher, and you'll be able to swing heavier. So it's going to be even harder for your opponent to guard it, and if they're already at 3 or 4 damage, it's pretty much an assured game over. But if you're stuck on her and you can't Legion and you're still relying on the extra crit besides the own crit that she gains, you're kind of out of vanilla. You're really not going to be able to do a whole lot, so you're just going to be striding every turn, and you really shouldn't have to stride if you're on this. This should just be literally meant to finish. If you can't finish, don't Legion with her. Go to something else if you can. Or if you're stuck on Angelica and you really don't feel like continually soul charging yourself to death, go into her. grade 2s. 4 Legion Mate, Norn, pretty same as before, classic. When it's Soul Blasted, choose a Regalia Vanguard, and she gets, that unit gets an additional 5k. So for, obviously with Yggdrasil, you're going to have 1 Legion, but you can still give it another 15k if you have the rest of the 3 in the Soul. Which, if you're already putting her at 20th with the Legion, 30, you know, with the skill, give her an additional 3 from her effect for having something in the middle column with her. Now you're going to give it another 15, you're going to be swinging up around 50 plus 60 in your K, and your opponent can pretty much guard with only 0s. So the fact that they're going to have Gory skill on too makes it really hard, and the fact that she gains a crit, if you're already at 4, you're pretty much hoping on a heal trigger to survive, otherwise it's pretty much GG. And the fact that you're generally running around 12 crit, there's a pretty much good chance they're dead. So there's that. But even if you don't get Legion, you know, I use this as the optimal grade 2 to ride because it already puts 1 in the soul for you, and then you can, you know, call them rear guards, guard with 1, soul charge them hopefully, and then you can use them on Breakride turn with, you know, this combo here to pump her even into the 40-50k range on Breakride turn and 30 to 40k range every other turn after that, by abusing Hemera and Shiny Angel skill to put these that you Soul Blast back into the Soul Charge zone. So that's pretty much the main focus there, is using these and abusing it with the support as much as possible to make your Vanguard swing and drop your opponent's hand size as formidably as possible. After that, I run 3 Hemera. This can be changed to 4 and drop another card in your grade 2 slot. My other grade 2 is 4 Jupiter. This is pretty much interchangeable as much as you want. You can do 4 Hemera and 3 Jupiter. Just kind of depends on how you like it. If you want to run into these more, that's okay. I'm not a pure focused 12k build. I run, or 12 crit build, sorry. I run 4 draw, so I'm at 8-4-4. So the chances of me drawing into my Hemeras is very popular. And because of the fact that pretty much everything's Regalia now, Jupiter is now 12k automatically as soon as you hit grade 2, rather than waiting for Minerva or Angelica to be grade in order for her to actually get her +3. So she's not like vanilla 9 anymore, which makes her a lot more potent. And then, of course, you know, the whole Soul Charge 3 abusable mechanic. You really just kind of pop these whenever you need to put your Norns back into the deck, or to get fuel for Minerva, or to get fuel for Yggdrasil. That's really all it's for. It's just to make sure that you've got what you need for your combo back in your soul. And the 12Ks are pretty much explainable. It's just to abuse the 12K power line. Grade 1s. I run 4 Sentinel. It's going to be... Okay, so for grade 1s, I run 4 Sentinels. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 perfect cards, and then 1 Quintet wall. And the reason I don't run like 3 Quintet walls, 2 Quintet walls, a whole set of Quintet wall, is because the deck no longer really focuses around having like 15 or 20 cards in the soul, and then using 4 of them to Legion and the rest to boost Yggdrasil's soul to 6 or more, so you would just blast away and have fun. There's no point in that. I feel like it's almost too aggro for me, honestly. Like, I need some sort of control. I also didn't really like the luck based. I kind of like formulating my own luck with things, so I kind of added it into my playstyle. This is really, I like the way the deck works. It goes toe to toe with the Cross. It goes toe to toe with a lot of the new stuff. It can go toe to toe with Thavis and the new Stride for Aquas. It can probably go toe to toe with Lambros, so we'll test that with set 2 drops. I just feel like this is kind of the way that Genesis is really meant to go, especially with all the support that came out in EB12. Toby, stop being a creeper.
Okay.
So I roll the 1 because if you get it first chance, you never really use Counterblast anyway, and because you're always pulling from your drop zone, You can't see it without pointing at it, but you really don't need to run any more than one, because if you get it, you can use it and lose your 5 cards, and for the most part, whatever goes to your drop zone from it is going to benefit you anyway, because you're just going to pull from it to add stuff to your soul. So you're going to hope that you get Yggdrasils, Angelicas, Minervas that you don't need in the drop zone, so that way, you know, you could use your Ordain Owl that I run 2 of. So that way you could, you know, boost your Regalia Vanguard even more in power. Norns that you can use Hemera or Shiny Angel to put back in. Things like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, you lose some triggers, but that's the risk of any Quintet wall. And of course, if you not sure you have enough, you could always end up landing into one of these and being able to use it. Don't worry about the fucking camera, Toby. So yeah, I feel like, and especially with all my the draw engine, you're just gonna draw into these anyway. So these are a lot better in cinches when you start running low on hand, because if the game drags on as usual, you're just gonna slowly get pummeled. Like, that's just the way it is. But hopefully you're able to actually be aggro but in control of yourself at the same time, and you won't have that issue. After the perfect cards, we run 4 of Shiny Angel, mainly because you want to have these as versatile as possible, because if you're playing decks that retire, they're going to be nuking field, and pretty much after you're called and you use the effect, they're vanilla 7s, which isn't too bad, but you're gonna want to be able to call as many of these as possible, because again, every turn you want to be able to put your Norns back in the soul to continue feeding the combo every turn and just abusing Minerva's restand ability as much as you physically can. Or, you know, refueling Yggdrasil's ability for as much as you can. It's just literally, with the newest support, it's just how often can you combo to abuse their skills, because that's really what Genesis is really good at right now, is abusing and then crit smashing. Yeah. And then afterwards, I really like this random tech, just because there's kind of nothing else to play, and the effect is just a given. You don't have to do it, but I do it sometimes when I need a little bit of an extra hand boost, is I run 4 Pure Angel. And the reason why is because you're not always going to want to call Shiny Angel, and because you never really use your counterblasts, other than Minerva or the Stride units, that giving it a Minerva another +5 is only going to help you in the long run. And then, because you're able to pull from damage zone so much that, or not damage zone, drop zone so much with your other cards, that Soul Blasting 3 really doesn't, you know, affect you. It's like, if you have to ride into pure Minerva and you need a power boost, okay, call this, counterblast 1, Soul Blast your 3 Norns, and you're going to give it a total of another +20. So you already make Minerva a base 31 before you're even swinging on one turn. And that's with or without Breakride. If they're keeping you not at, you know, at 3 damage, then screw Angelica, pop over Minerva, and just smash them and punish them anyway. And that's always fun. And you don't always have to Soul Blast 3. Just, it's a CB1 +5, which is, honestly, it's phenomenal. That's really, really, really good, because that +5 is already another 10k shield they have to go over you with. So that pretty much helps. And then, of course, Ordain Owl, because the chance that you can get this off on a good play turn is still really nice. And you don't want to run 1, because you're never going to see it. It's too hard to get into. And you don't want to run any more than 2, because it's a 6k, and you need to have, you know, these in the drop, which you won't necessarily always have. It's just nice to give, once again, an additional 5, 10, 15, sometimes even 20,000 attack power when you're already swinging for a crazy high number is ridiculous. And you're going to swing for it twice if you ride Minerva, and they glory skill it and go ahead, drop 8 or 10 10k shields. I don't think you have that, so you're pretty much going to be dead. So that's what those are for. Trigger count. Like I said before early in the video, it's going to be 8 crit.
That's fun.
4 Regalia Crit, 4 Regalia Hemera, because Soul Charge +3, abusable. You can't put them in with any of the new cards though, so kind of once you use them and once you blast them, they're stuck there, unless you can Legion them back in, and these are the cards I kind of go after Legioning, if they're in the drop zone, because you can't really use them afterwards other than Soul Charge, and that's it. After that, they touch the drop zone, they're dead, because you can't move them after that. Not a big deal though, that +3 is kind of what they're just there for in the first place. And then I run 4 draw, and I run the Regalia Draw. People ask, well, why don't you run the stand trigger? That is basically a copy of Norn. I don't really like stands in this, because you're restanding at 9k, and okay, so you get a double stand, great, so you're swinging 1 open extra column, but yeah, for a surprise factor that works really well, and I don't know, I just don't find that you soul charge kind of enough, and you have it's kind of an odd, funky hand. I personally just don't like it, because of all, I know it's going to sound weird, but all the 10k shield, it's almost like too much, so you're kind of like wasting an additional 5k to guard an attack that you could just drop this, gain a soul charge off of, and then use it to add itself in with the card, or you can Legion it back in for future, because you're always going to need hand power regardless, and I would rather have the hand power honestly in this deck versus restanding, because you kind of want stuff retired and put here so you could stick it back into soul to use for a greater Vanguard effect. That's kind of how I see it. And then, 4 heal, and once again, Regalia Heal, because you're going to need the soul charge cards, and they have to be Regalia to be soul charged. And then last but not least, the stride zone is right now just 4 Atmos, because that's all I've got. And I know there's a question coming up, okay, well then what about Demeter? What about Doombrace, the new cards coming out of Fighters Collection? Personally, I honestly am not sure what I'm going to run out of that. I really don't want to run Demeter, even though she's the Regalia main boss stride unit, because you're soul charging from deck. And the way this deck is functioning, it's literally meant to just pull resources from the drop zone, or soul charge minimally with Amenohoakari and Angelica from your deck. If you're already striding and having to soul charge that way to kind of gain a net effect, then you're really not going to gain anything from it. It's going to actually kind of quote-unquote hinder you, because you're going to just lower your chance of those cards. Because, okay, great, you soul charge and you get the cards off for the effect, but the fact that you're restanding and you're already doing 4 cards plus a turn just drive checking, if you're adding in more cards on top of the fact that a stride gives you an additional +1, you're just taking away from yourself. You're quickening your death, because if you deck out, it's game over. So I would rather have a really low drop zone and a much thicker deck to work with than other way around. Yeah, and then for Doombrace, I probably am gonna just end up running Doombrace instead, and just run 4 and 4, because who doesn't want you don't need counterblast, so you're gonna CV1 for an additional 10k, and for Shiggle's turns, you're swinging for 41 at him, and with 8 crit, 4 draw, your chances of running into something really fun and playable and helping you out benefit no matter what you draw is really, really, really high. And then Doombrace, okay, so I've only got 5 soul or less. I can stride, I can pump up 2 columns, and I can end up soul charging 3 cards. So I can pretty much just get off an entire field combo of +5 like Himeko for free. And on a stride, still swinging for 31, 36, honestly, that's a really solid turn. So Doombrace would be the card that I'd want to run other than Atmos, because Demeter just kind of stops the purpose of the deck. I was really hoping for something a little more Minerva oriented, kind of like how the Ace was with the restanding, but we didn't get that. So hopefully set 4 will give us actually really good stride support, but until then, that is really kind of it. Again, it's midnight. I'm pretty damn tired. I think I've covered all the questions I can think of, but if you guys have any more, or you're kind of curious as to why I'm playing it this way and I didn't really answer your questions, please comment below and I will answer it pretty much immediately because I check this stuff daily. So yeah, look forward to videos of this deck. I really love it. I've been working on it for a while. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna have other videos up for you soon. Fun.